Everybody around the world was praying for that ball to go in, and Víctor Tomàs, even though your heart is in Catalan colors, you still wanted that ball to go in, didn't you?
I'm pretty confident saying that Stine Breda Loftedal is the GOAT in women handball.
Talking about a nominee for the EHF Excellence Awards this year.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Into the net.
She does it again! Yes!
And Víctor are the champions of Europe! To come up with something here, she has a game! Across the keeper! What a comeback!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk handball again, and what an honor it is to close down the club season just today. And I am stoked that I don't have to do that by myself, but I am joined by two hosts, by two great hosts yet again. On the one hand side, we do have the guy that probably didn't stop grinning ever since Sunday evening, the man who screamed Barcelona to the title right from the Spanish television. This is him, Víctor Tomàs. How's it going?
Hello. Good. Everything is good. I think that we experienced an amazing handball weekend, as always in Cologne. Just wanted to show you something. Yeah, you can see now.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Okay. We just experienced an amazing handball weekend. Cologne is always great, and it never disappoints anyone. Even if your team it's not winning the whole event, it's just amazing, and the atmosphere in the city, it's amazing. So I just want to say congratulations to everybody involved in the organization of the event, of course all the staff, and of course all the teams that are playing, because they all together they make an amazing event year after year.
Yeah, most definitely. And who else other than him could we talk about because he is Mr. Fear of Missing Out. He didn't even see the sun to go miss out on the Truckscout24 EHF FINAL4 2024. But I mean, who wanted to see Mikkel Hansen's last dance anyway? Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Vilstrup, how are you?
Well, I had a lot of FOMO in this weekend, but I was also about to say that you missed out the good company, Bengt, but from what I saw from the live stream, you had a pretty good company in terms of other great names joining the studio. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm looking forward to Saturday when I'm going to China and the World Championship in beach handball. So that's the focus at the moment.
Yeah, the live show actually was pretty amazing on Saturday and Sunday. I guess we have never been that packed with guests in such a short time. So at some point I needed to throw Andy Wolf out because, the Bundestrainer was coming along. Then we had Alfred Gislason coming in. Sorry, Alfred, you can't stay anymore. There's Stine Oftedal coming. And we had to put our priorities straight. But it was great. It was a great show. It was great company. And all the other hosts that were there with me, Dennis Bayer, Lena Greisels, who led us through the weekend. Just one last big shout out to them, to these guys. But maybe let's start to talk about the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League once again for one last time this season. Martin, at first, how did you follow the matches at all?
I saw them. It's a little bit rude, and I'm not super proud of admitting it, but thanks to an iPhone, you can actually also put it on the table at a wedding. And whenever whenever there's handball and it's EHF Champions League handball, I kind of smoothly, there are people are smoking cigarettes, and whenever there were, official break, I was quickly tuning in on the matches, and it was only Saturday, so Sunday I got to watch both of the matches. So Saturday I followed the first one with Aalborg, and I was able to see it because the party hadn't started there yet, and then I kind of followed the second one on just on app whenever I had the opportunity to look up, but and I was like showing to my brother who was there as well and used to play. I was like, Barca leading with 10. Emil Nielsen, what is wrong? And it was just insane to have a look at the score and not able to follow the match. So I saw the most of them on TV.
Yeah, the game that you have just been talking about for Barca against Kiel, that was impressive from Barca's perspective. Especially Emil Nielsen had once more a great performance. Usually for every other keeper, you would talk about the performance of his life, but then just the next week, Emil Nielsen just steps up even more and just saves even more balls. But to be fair and to be completely honest, I personally believe that for the atmosphere perspective, it probably was the worst possible outcome of the Saturday. But still, Victor, how did you experience the atmosphere in the arena?
I think it was nice. It's nice when there is German teams, but there is also very nice when there is not German teams.
Yeah.
Of course, you as a German, maybe you were a little bit disappointed because both German teams were out of the final. But I think the atmosphere in the arena was not less loud because the German teams were out of the final. It's always fully booked, the arena. Even right now, I think that there is already thousands and thousands of tickets already sold for next season, and we don't even know which teams are going to participate. So I think the atmosphere was nice and amazing as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's just the way that people speak about Cologne is always will be something special. You know, they experience a lot of insane atmospheres, and we also had at the European Championship in Germany where people said, "I'm just looking forward to going to Cologne. Hamburg was crazy or whatever arena, but Cologne is the place to be in terms of insane atmospheres."
Because the atmosphere in the arena, it's insane. It's really nice, but the city is big enough to host an event like this, and it's small enough to for the people who is walking around the city, you are smelling the event all the time. You are watching people wearing their team's jerseys, even if that teams are not qualified for the Final Four. The atmosphere in the city, you are walking around, you cross known people all the time, and all the good vibes in the city. It's also amazing.
Calling Cologne a small city is such a disrespect from you, little Barca boy. That's just.
I said big enough and small enough, so yeah. I think you could understand it's the perfect size.
Then eventually it was a great weekend, and it was great on the sporting perspective as well. With eventually Melvin Richardson earning his first MVP title ever. So he did get awarded with some personal trophies in the in the youth tournaments, but when it comes to his pro career, then it was actually his first personal award. And Victor, what do you say? Is it a deserved most valuable player?
Absolutely, I think it was well deserved. I think that he was worth it of getting the MVP. Also, we could have said maybe Emil or Dika, they could have win it as well. But for me, Melvin was a decisive player, especially in the final. He scored one goal against Aalborg in the last minutes when Aalborg was going very wide in defense. And it was just the moment to score for Barcelona and to finish the game. And Melvin, he took the responsibility. He scored the goal. So for me, it's well-deserved, not only for what he did in the Final Four, to adapt his game to play as a center back during the whole season after Domen Makuts was injured. I think that Melvin has played an outstanding season.
Yeah, that's actually what I was just about to lead over to, that central back role of Barcelona throughout the entire season. Especially in the first 1, 2, or 3 episodes, we were always discussing, how is Barca going to cope with that? How are they going to make it up? Is that going to be a difficult season for them? Will this be the year where Barcelona's supremacy is finally coming to an end? And they won't make it to Cologne, but throughout the entire season, there was no doubt coming up that Barca could ever not make it to Cologne or whatever. And I personally felt like their backcourt was always in secure hands. Martin, if you had to point out one player within that backcourt who stood out throughout the entire season, who was it?
For Barcelona.
Yeah.
Well,
you can talk about the all-ball backcourt when we're talking about Barca.
Well, Victor just said Melvin, but earlier stage, also in the group stage, and I think he kind of leads the team. I also feel like I want to speak about Dikamem, of course. He's a key player for them, and he's also leading the way. And also in the beginning of the game, he scored a couple of quick goals, and he's just being Dikamem. I said it earlier, but one player I always get amazed by is Ngusang. I think he always going under the radar because nobody speaks about him. He's all, is he in the national team or not? But he's playing for Barcelona. I think he's been playing for Barcelona for 6 years, if not more. And, in the final also, the way that he came in, I feel like, sometimes the player, they get a hold of Ngusang, but they cannot stop him because he's too strong, and he still are able to get his arm free and then shoot. And then he scores a couple of goals and then he runs back, not many emotions from him, but I feel like he's a player going under the radar. But if I have to say a player, of course, that we always notice is, it's Dikamem for me. But it's also expected for Dikamem to show up, he's the captain of the biggest team in the world. And I just sometimes in the close games against the bigger teams in the group stage, I remember him, jumping up, faking it, dribbling, and then scoring the goals whenever the arm was up. And Dikamem, what a player.
And it was his first season as a captain. And in his first season, he captained his team to the Champions League title. And immediately in the moment after he lifted the trophy, he broke out in tears. Just later, we had to learn that there was a familiar tragedy for him. And he still wanted to play. He still wanted to fight for his colors. And, he said that this trophy was for someone super special in his life that actually has just left him, and I just want to say my biggest respect out to Dikamem for still being able to lead his team, to be an emotional leader on and off the court, and to dedicate that trophy to that special someone in his family. Best wishes and a lot of strength to his and his beloved ones. But anyway, it was a great performance by Dika. Don't you think so, Victor?
I get emotional if I talk about Dika and about this topic. He's a huge professional, and the way he has worn this armband, it's amazing. At the beginning of the season, he declared out loud that this was not the way that he wanted to reach the armband of Barcelona when the staff decided to take it away from Gonzalo because he signed with TAB Kiel. But the way he has took this responsibility, the way he's been behaving, the way also that Gonzalo took that decision and helped him to become the captain that he is, and the whole thing, the whole group of good people that Barca is, this locker room, I'm telling you guys, it's just amazing. And I get emotional because what happened to Dika, it's something that it shouldn't happen to anyone. A tragedy with his sister, very, very young age. It's unfair. The life, it's so unfair sometimes. And I was broadcasting for the Catalan TV, and I was almost into tears when I saw him crying and all the guys going to hug him and to cheer him. And for me, what Dika did these last 2 weeks, because Barcelona played also the Copa del Rey the week before, and they won, and now the Final Four, and they won again, and the role of Dika into those victories, it's just amazing. And amazing, it's a short way to say how good he is.
Our biggest condolences for Dika Mem also.
Yeah, And period to what you just said, Victor, to show how big and how great he is already. And it won't take much time until we will be talking about DKM as one of the best to have ever touched the ball. I am pretty sure about that because he is just showing that he has won multiple Champions League trophies already, and this weekend once again. And it's always tough to get the switch after that, but we have to talk about one other player that we are already talking about, one of the greatest of all times here, and that is of course Mikkel Hansen, who actually left the stage this weekend, who left the club stage this weekend, and he isn't leaving with a trophy in his hand, but I mean, well, what a situation that was. 31-30 in the Champions League final. You know it is the last shot of your club career. And then Mikkel Hansen steps up. Everybody around the world was praying for that ball to go in. And Víctor Tomàs, even though your heart is in Catalan colors, you still wanted that ball to go in, didn't you?
Honestly, I wanted because of him. I like him. We played together. We had very good relation, and even though we don't speak every day, we speak just now and then. We have good relation, and I think that his career deserved this championship. And I think that at this moment, when he had the ball, everybody had on their minds this goal that he scored against Russia in the Olympics 2008, because it was the same exact position. But yeah, my heart was divided in two because, as you know, my heart is always pumping blue and red blood. But I was feeling for him, and I think that a guy and a player like him, he deserved this championship.
Martin, how much did your knees shiver when Mikkel Hansen stepped up for that free throw?
Well, I think if there's one guy you don't want to have the ball in their hand when the time is out and in that position, and a 2-minute suspension to the other team, I think it's Mikkel Hansen. So people normally you're like, oh, they're not going to score on that one. But in this case, it's like, okay, it's Mikkel Hansen. He has the ball, and with the situation in mind, then people were like, it might happen. And then he hits the crossbar, and people so close to, do what in my head is one of the craziest shots I've ever seen, and everybody in Danish media are talking about, who will be the next Mikkel Hansen. And everybody's concluding, even Nikolaj Jakobsen, there will not be a new Mikkel Hansen, never. There will be someone else, maybe as good as Mikkel Hansen, but no second Mikkel Hansen, because of the way that he passes the ball and the way that he developed his shooting abilities, We had Uwe Gensheimer in the show earlier where he also had a crazy shot, but the way that Mikkel Hansen shoots in Denmark is, it's a trademark. It's so I feel sorry for Mikkel that he couldn't get, this title because it would have been a perfect chapter. We spoke a lot about Karabatic also ending it, going to the Final Four, but it's a tough one to lose.
As you said, Martin, this technique, this way that Mikkel Hansen has of shooting the ball, it cannot be matched. So that's the problem for the young players. Try to repeat what Mikkel Hansen does, because it's impossible. Nobody can do it. So it for sure it won't be another Mikkel Hansen ever, because he was unique. His way to play handball was unique, and his ability and technique to shoot was unique.
Yeah, but I mean, it's totally fair, and it is good that there won't be a second Mikkel Hansen. It was a pleasure and an honor to watch him playing, and in that era of handball where we saw so many great players, he was one of them who actually stood out, and that's where we are kneeling down ahead of the Danish king, probably the best that Denmark ever had, Mikkel Hansen, and it was great watching him, and he led his Aalborg to a silver medal, so he didn't play a bad Final Four at all here. He had a great weekend, and it could have been topped off by that amazing shot. But that shouldn't take anything away from this Aalborg, who probably had the toughest way into the Final Four, who had the toughest opponent in the semi-final, and who were the underdogs in the final there yet again, but still they always managed to overcome the obstacles and eventually give us a huge final here, which they didn't end up winning, but still it was a great game, and we can surely consider Aalborg at the end of the season as the dark horse of the season, can't we, Martin?
Well, they can be super, super proud of themselves. What in Denmark we don't usually say is that whenever we dream big, we are allowed to say it. It's in Danish called the jantelov. I don't know the English word for it, but it's like Aalborg, they are saying it out loud.
It's the same word in English. It's in English jantelov as well. Okay,
sorry, I didn't know.
I'm joking.
It's great to. But you know what? They're not afraid of saying out loud they want to win the Champions League. And for the second time, they were there. And the first time they got their ass kicked by Barcelona. This time they were very competitive. And as you said, knocking out Veszprém, knocking out Magdeburg. To me, Veszprém was the biggest favorites in this season. Then they knocked out the region champions. And then the biggest team in the world, they met in the final. So, they can be super proud of themselves. And I think they did an amazing job. And as a Danish guy, obviously I wanted them to win, but it was a super, super, tight final. I don't think any team got up with more than 2 goals. And I actually also think that Barcelona had a little bit of luck in the right situations. They had 2 times where they had the return ball for Luis Frade, and also Hambosvani, he hit the crossbar once where it went out to Blas Jans. These are some of the small moments where you get the momentum. If they missed those instead, then it would maybe have been different. But, sometimes you also got to search the luck to get the luck. But Aalborg can be proud of themselves, although they will, of course, feel very, very sad by getting silver medal when you're so close.
Yeah, 100%. It would have been the first Danish team ever to win the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League. It sounds like it would be about time.
Male team,
yeah, of course. That is very true. That is very true. Thank you. That's of course. Well, I said the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League. That's why no female team would ever be able to compete in that one yet. That is true. But we'll see where this one will lead. But a team who was able to compete and who finally made it back to Cologne, THW Kiel, what are we putting under their season? So as of today, Philipp Jicha is still coach of THW Kiel, but will that remain like that? Victor, what do you think?
I think it would be a mistake if he is not remaining a coach. I think he showed how good he is in his 4 years as a coach. 3 years, 4 years. I'm not sure how long is it. He already won, I think, 2 Bundesliga. He won 1 Champions League. And
actually, since 2019. So his first appearance was as a
head coach?
Second coach. His first appearance as a second coach was in 2018, and since 2019 he took over.
Okay. Well, 5 seasons. Okay, then he has won the Champions League. He has won the Bundesliga. He has won more championships with Kiel. And his team, in my opinion, has been weak every year. Now they are trying to make this generation change, having some young players as Erik Johansson and Skipagoto. I think they are struggling in the right back position because Weinhold was injured a long time. Then Gurbindo didn't maybe perform the way they wanted or the way they expected. Maybe this kind of game for Gurbindo, it's difficult because he has a little different style. And Harald Rankin was overloaded with minutes of playing. So also Dubniak, he's the, let's say, alma mater of this team, but he's very close to his 40s. So I think that the changes that are happening in Kiel, it's making Kiel to have some difficulties competing. But even though they qualified for the Europa League, in the toughest league in the world, which is the Bundesliga. They were number 4, and they reached the Final 4 in Cologne. So I think that for them, it's going to be better to play the Europa League next season, to maybe focus a little bit more energy during the group phase when they face theoretically weaker teams in the group phase of the Europa League. Then they can focus more energy in the Bundesliga and try to qualify for the Champions League again. So for me, Filip Györ is the right guy to do that in Kiel.
All right. Then we are going to watch what happens in Kiel, eventually becoming 3rd in the Champions League, so finishing higher in the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League than in the Bundesliga. Martin, enough to save a torn Kiel season?
It's always tough to be coaches in the biggest clubs, and if it's not Barcelona, the biggest one, then I would say THW Kiel after, and you will always be under pressure whenever you don't deliver the results that everybody wants. And the beauty and the bad thing about sport is that not everybody can win. But I wouldn't say that it saved the season. But on the other hand, they ended up beating Magdeburg for the bronze medal, which people were kind of expecting Magdeburg to win this bronze medal. So for them, I think they ended the season in a good way. Yeah. And to me, Filip Györ is also a very, very, very big name, not only in Czech Republic, but in the handball world and also in Germany. So, and what Victor just said with the titles he already won, maybe this is one of the years where they didn't win. But the Bundesliga, the most competitive with Berlin and Magdeburg and Flensburg, it's tough. And one of these 4 teams always have to speak about, did we succeed when we didn't win the Bundesliga? And then, I think they ended it in a good way with a bronze medal match. But all throughout the entire season, I think they've been pretty competitive in the EHF Champions League, and they've been struggling more in the Bundesliga. So I think he will be the coach also in the next season.
Yeah, because we are considering Berlin season was a success, and THW Kiel season was a failure. Because Berlin was 2nd in the league, and that's it.
Yeah. Berlin qualified for the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League 2024-2025. And it's always the self-perception of Kiel to be playing in the top notch of Europe. And that's the standard that they set for themselves. And they will be fighting for it to get back to the top. I think we can be sure about that. And this success, it comes and goes in waves. That's why it is all right to have a season that maybe just ends up in the 4th spot in the Bundesliga. But then just one short little sentence about Magdeburg finishing the Bundesliga on top, having won the Super Globe, having won the domestic cup. Then it is all right that the batteries run low at the end of the season, and it is just a 4th place, still a successful season, right?
I would say they can be happy. They won the race against Berlin and they won the Bundesliga title. Of course, they want to win the Champions League 2 years in a row, but we're speaking about the biggest tournament. It's not like you're just going to walk up and win it. There are other teams and very, very good teams. So to me, the only way they can be disappointed is the way that they ended, the season with 2 losses against Aalborg and Kiel. And in my world, I would say they were the favorites in both games and they ended up losing both. So that maybe for them is, they cannot be satisfied about. But on the other hand, winning the Bundesliga, it's big, as you said, and also, they can of course be satisfied. And I'm just curious to see who's going to be able to stop Magdeburg, because I think they are an amazing team, and with the players they have put together. And if I look at, with all the respect with Matthias Musche, I don't think he's the best left wing in the world, but still ends up winning Champions League titles, Bundesliga, and also on the right wing. The way that they put it together, they are really a team, and they have some individual qualities, but Magdeburg, they look strong.
And that's where I'd say, go ahead, Victor.
I think the season of Magdeburg was a huge success ending up fourth in the Truckscout Final Four was, of course, not what they wanted. But if we see the whole season overall, they won a lot of titles. Yeah. And I think in the Final Four, it was the only moment. Yeah, it was the only time in the year when they missed Nicola Porner, because I think Sergei Hernandez, he played amazing during the year. I think he was getting better and better and better every month, but he didn't play at his level in the Final Four. And every time Bennett Bieger was looking at the bench, I could feel he was not trusting in Aggeforce. So I think this was the moment when they missed to have a second goalkeeper. And let's see what's the move that they will do. But I think that anyway, the Magdeburg season was amazing.
Yeah, 100% it was. And then with that, we closed down this year's Machine Secret EHF Champions League. So thanks everybody for putting on such a great show. It was a blast watching and talking about it. Maybe a little quicker because it has been a little more time that we have been in Budapest. But yeah, just to conclude the EHF Champions League women here as well. Györ is back on top. Györ are back to success, and they are the old new queens of Europe, winning it for Sandra Toft, winning it for Stine Oftedal, winning it for Anna Gross and for all the other players that have actually never won the EHF Champions League women before. And now that's the big question between 2013 and 2019. I think they won 5 out of 7 Champions League titles. Will we see a streak like that again? Is Györ back to glory, Martin? What do you think?
They are definitely back to glory in terms of they won the title. But I think in modern handball, the teams and the level are, more equal than probably were earlier years, so I don't think we're going to see another run from Györ when they're winning 5 out of 7, but I expect Györ to be there at the next EHF Final 4, so they have the chance, but as we also saw this year, they're coming up surprises, and I think there are also other teams that will come back, and Vipers will come back. Chesum Bucharesti went there. Metz and Esbjerg probably also going to compete for it. But Györ will always be there, and I will always expect Györ to be there. But I don't think we're going to see a streak like that, to be honest.
Yeah, there are some top-notch teams here as well. But ending the season on a high means ending her career on a high for Stine Oftedal, who actually leaves the stage here. And she was really enjoying that moment when she was crowned the MVP. That's what we talked about in an interview with her as well. She was like, yeah, well, it's almost like that moment when people sing happy birthday to you and you don't know what to do. But why did they put the spotlight on it? That was some great stuff there. But yeah, what a career that was, right, Victor?
We spoke a lot about Nikola Karabatic being the GOAT in men handball. I'm pretty confident saying that Stine Bredal Oftedal is the GOAT in women handball. At least in my opinion, she has trespassed the playing courts not only as a player, but also her figure as a role model for little kids has been amazing, and the way she has performed at his top during so many seasons in Györ and in the Norwegian national team, I think it's quite fair to put her there, as the GOAT in women handball. So I'm really sad that she is retiring, because let's see how Györ is coping with that, because if there is one player that has always been playing a lot of playing time in Györ, that's Stine Bredal Oftedal, and she was the center back of the team. Yeah. So let's see how the team is coping with that. I'm sad that she's retiring, because as you know, guys, my wife is from Norway, and one of the traditions at home in Christmas is to celebrate the gold medal of Norway. So let's see. Let's see how the national team and Györ is coping with that, and let's see how Handball is coping with the retirement of Stine.
Yeah. 100%. One team that might be able to profit from Stine Oftedal not being on the court anymore is maybe the team that they faced in the final, because, not many people predicted it, but some legends actually said that SGBVM Bietigheim would be able to make it to the final. I don't know who that was here, actually, but, that doesn't even matter. Because eventually Bietigheim played a glorious season. They didn't stand a chance against Györ. One really has to say it like that. But yeah, Martin, what do you think? Will we be able to see Bietigheim in Budapest again next year?
Quickly, I also just want to give some respect to Stine Oftedal. Sure. It's an unbelievable career with 5 European goals, 3 World Championship goals, 3 Champions League, and so on, so on. So it's well deserved, and also nominated for the best player in the world in 2019. So, yeah, best of luck to Stine in her new life and new role, whatever comes up. But going back to your question regarding Bietigheim, it's going to be interesting to see with them, because, there are some players leaving them that are crucial players. Dolfo, Moreschi, if I remember correctly, that are 2 key players for me as well. And the thing is that whenever you play in a club like Bietigheim and you perform very well, then other clubs are aware of it, and they can maybe offer you... one thing is more money, but also competing more regularly and consistently for the big trophies. So, with all respect to Bietigheim, I don't believe that we will see him again in the EHF Final4 next year. But hopefully, I'm wrong, because we like these kind of surprises.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you would have to point out one central role in that miracle story that they fulfilled, Victor, who would it be?
For me, Gabriela Moreschi.
Mm-hmm.
But also it was Xenia Smits, it was Kawagasama, it was Lukács. Lukács.
Carolina.
Carolina, exactly. Yeah. Also Inge Smits. So I think that many players were really important in this achievement of Bietigheim. But if I would have to say one name, I would say Gabriela Moreschi.
Yeah, and she is leaving for CSMA Bucuresti. They have big plans here as well, but that, I would say, is some stuff for the future for us to analyze when it comes down to the new season, when we are getting closer there. But talking about Gabriela Moreschi, we are talking about a nominee for the EHF Excellence Awards this year, and she is being part of the nominees, where you guys out there have still got the chance to actually nominate your personal squad for the EHF Excellence Awards for the team of the season. So until June 23rd, I think at midnight, you can vote for your player of the season. So go ahead and download the Home of Handball app and then select your squad. And for 25%, you guys can be able to influence that voting, and some guy here was part of a nominational committee here as well. Víctor Tomàs, how did the nomination go? So how does the process work?
It's not easy, because it's a group of people who is presenting some names. Some of the names we all have the same names in our heads, but some others it's different between each other, and we have to end up with 7 names per position, and then we finally decided them the next day of the Final Four. I was only part for the male side. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's like that. We put up a group of 10-11 players, and then we end up having a 7 per position.
Yeah, and now you guys can go vote for your player of the season or your players of the season. Then there's selected media, coaches, and players as well, who will be able to get their votes in, and all of that will take in 25%. And I think on June 27th, the team of the season will be revealed. And on December 14th, we will have a look at who became the player of the season. That will be done during the final weekend of the EHF Euro, of the Women's EHF Euro 2024. But let's have a look at who we got in our teams of the season. So let's start on the women's side. Victor, you already dropped the name Gabriela Moreski. Did she get the spot in your goal?
I have a dilemma in the goalkeeper position because I think that I would put her in my best 7 because of her influence in her team, or how big was her performances in the achievement of the team. But between her and Celia Solberg, I have a big dilemma. So if I have to choose one, I choose Moreski.
Oh yeah, that's actually interesting. Now that you dropped the name Celia Solberg, I am actually going against it with Sandra Toft, so her teammate from Györ. But I was actually in between these two as well, because for Sandra, it was it wasn't her best year, to say it like that. So her performances were going up and down as well. But I mean, Györ in general, they had the luxury of actually having a top trio out of Solberg, Toft and Döndam to always drop in a new goalkeeper, and they would go above and beyond 30%. But for Sandra Toft, well, that final save that she had in the semi-final, it actually brought Györ to the final. And that's what made the difference for me. She's a top-notch goalkeeper and made it to my goalie position. How about you, Martin?
Well, I'm glad that you guys said yours before, because my point is that from Györ, they have 2 amazing goalkeepers, but it's also 2 goalkeepers that are getting, to share the playing time. And to me, that means that Moreski have, been playing more and more chances to show her skills. She was also awarded player of the match was it against ECAST, I think. So Victor said the influence she had on her team, and also in the semi-final, and also in general, for me, if Bietigheim has to be competitive, they need to have Moreski to deliver at the highest level. So I took Moreski on my team just because of that. Sako has also been unbelievable, but I don't think she showed what we can expect from her at the EHF Final 4.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think for the other positions, we can speed it up a little bit, because if we talk that long about each and every position, we will be sitting here tomorrow. Who's your left wing? Just one name? Chloe Valentini on my side as well. I guess we all agree on the left back position again. Victor, you may start.
I also have a dilemma. I put it Henny Reista, but I think Nzeminko was very, very, very close.
Martin?
Nzeminko I actually like her very much, but I was also looking at Senior Smith because of the seasons she had, but I took Henny Reistad.
Yeah, if you got Henny Reistad in that nomination process, there's no way around Henny Reistad. The way that she shapes the game of Esbjerg, and I think it was 3 times that she had a game in the double digits where she scored 10 or more goals. One of them was in the bronze medal match where she ended up scoring 13 without shooting a single penalty. That is just nuts to my mind, and she fully deserves it, and there's no way around the IHF World Player of the Year. How about center back position? Who you got, Martin?
I got the MVP, the Stine Oftedal, and this one is pretty clear for me. I think Christina Jørgensen also been unbelievable throughout the season, but Stine Oftedal, I don't have to say any more than that. Stine Oftedal.
Fair enough. Victor?
Stine Bredal Oftedal, the goal.
I actually went for another one. I went for Andrea Lekic. In my opinion, Andrea Lekic had a very good season in a very weak FTC, to be fair. And whenever she wasn't part of the game, FTC had huge problems, and she even performed when FTC didn't, and that as a center back means a lot.
She has an injury in her hand and missed out a couple of games, and FTC won the league and the cup.
It was
but okay, it's good. We don't always have to agree,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about right back, Victor?
It's boring.
This was
but
the toughest for me.
Yeah, it's Nora Mork as well.
Well, then,
because she's really important for her team, and she's always there in the big games. So it's Nora for me.
Yeah, Martin, before you reveal your inner twist, I can just agree with Víctor Tomàs. If you have the chance in a team to get the connection between Henny Reistad and Nora Mørk, you have to go for it. Nora Mørk it is. Her precision from the line is total insanity. Martin, what do you have against it?
So Victor, he has Reistad often a la Nora Mørk. It's the Norway celebrations.
Could be a worse backcourt.
Yeah, but I agree with Norma. It's difficult, but also Vakieva, top scorer, Anna Gross winning her first Champions League. Carolina Kutlac also played. But I actually went with another one than all of the names that I just said, and she's leaving also to play in Denmark, and it's also because of her mentality and the way she's also playing as the only right back. There are other right backs for Mets, but she's playing all the time. I just think Louise Burger also played an amazing tournament. I agree that overall, Nora Mørk is a better player and she's the big performance player. But I want to give a little shout out to Burger because of her mentality. I like that she never gives up.
She's Danish, right?
I'm thinking also about the World Championship that we saw in December in Denmark, about what the national teams did or these players did. Norway was there as always, so that's why I chose these back positions, all the Norwegians.
It makes sense.
But Burger is Danish, isn't she?
She is Danish.
Oh, what a surprise! What a surprise! Well, then let's go over to the right wing actually. And
we're speaking about a team who's great on the national team level and also have a team in the EHF Final 4.
Yeah, all good. And then I'm curious which Danish player you chose for the right wing.
I actually didn't choose any Danish one. And here, for me, it was also about, I went with Victoria. And I think she played a good final and overall a good tournament, EHF Final 4 throughout the season. Maybe other right wings that are at least as competitive as her. But, I think she's stable and consistent. And that's why I picked her.
Victoria Győri Lukács, right?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Victor, how about you?
I liked Victoria as well a lot, her season, but I went for Lucy Granier.
Oh, then it's actually interesting because we have three different ones. I went for Jana Knedlikova.
You went with Marlestein.
No, I went with Knedlikova because she, amongst all those nominees, she actually had the most goals, and she went perfect a bunch of times throughout the entire season. So she did play a great one.
She's so good. Mm-hmm. She's so good.
Yeah. She is an unbelievable player, but I have to say for my selection, you also have to make it very far in the tournament to make it to my team, because then you had a really impact on the tournament. It's not like, I can honestly say I didn't pick, for example, Subsak for my men's team. I didn't pick him. He's the top scorer, but they didn't make it to the Truckscout24 EHF final, So, I just want to say you have to go far in the tournament to make it to my team.
All right, then we will probably all agree on the line player, because there is no way past Sarah Buktit this season, is there?
I agree. I agree with you that she maybe didn't play.
Martin went for a Dane again. Perfect.
I think she didn't play her best semi-final, but I think that overall she was the best during the competition.
Mm-hmm. And Martin, why is Rikke Iversen better than Sarah Buktit this season?
No, I didn't pick Rikke Iversen. I think she also missed too many open chances. And Gassama also played, but I actually picked one I think is going under the radar and is keeping another one nominated in this one on the bench, which is Lynn Blom on the bench and Juvette Bock also on the bench. So I think Kai Bratze Dale, she's doing an amazing job for Gyør in general, and she actually also played well semi-final and final, and it's unbelievable player in the defense as well. And if I remember correctly, also the captain of a Gyør team, and I think she's a amazing player. So that's why I picked her.
All right, I guess that's some Eurovision Song Contest stuff here, where the Danes vote for the Norwegians and vice versa. But we can see where this.
Let's see the next one then.
Yeah, all right. Then Martin, give us your Danish defender.
Line Haugsted could also have got it, but I went with Kelly Dolfer. I think she's, the season she had is maybe that's also why she's going to Györ and replacing Line Haugsted, who's going to Esbjerg, but Kelly Dolfer also contributing offensively, which I have to say, but amazing player.
Victor, how about you?
Me too. It's same explanation as Martin did.
+1, Kelly Dolfer it is, so it can't be anybody else. We're joking. So let's see where this one will take us, and let's head over to.
And this was in a category where there was 3 Norwegian players, 4 Norwegian players nominated and 1 Danish. So remember that I picked one from the Netherlands. Yeah.
One has to keep up the alibi. So good on you, but let's do the same direction here for the men's side. So we missed out on we had the goalkeeper. So we are starting with the goalkeeper on the men's side as well. And Martin, you can finally legally vote your Dane.
Here it's okay, it's okay, but I didn't went with Niklas Landin. I went with Emil Nielsen.
Yeah, +1 Emil Nielsen. It will go down as the best season of his career so far. Whatever he played in the Euro or in the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League, no way past the wall, Emil Nielsen, and that's why he deserves this spot. Victor?
That makes the 3 of us. It was very nice because we asked him on TV on Saturday after the semifinal if he would remember another performance as good as he did in the semifinal. And he said, yeah, last winter in this arena, I played pretty good as well.
Yeah, and he's right.
Okay.
That's typical Emil Nielsen,
yeah. And he was like I played pretty good as well.
So unimpressed, but I actually want to say the scenes from everybody, the standing ovation where they, clapped and for him and his performance, but it was very nice to see that he finally let go of some emotions when he won the Champions League. He was emotional, and it was actually nice to see from a guy that we normally see what Victor just described.
But fair. Emil Nielsen definitely deserves it. Who deserves it on the left wing? I'm putting my nominee here first. I got Hugo Desca. Victor, how about you?
For me, Dylan Nahi. For me, Dylan Nahi is at this moment the best left wing.
Mm-hmm. Martin?
Jakobsen.
He's the MVP of the European League and plays in the team who got second at the European Championship. But I agree with Nahi. What he's extraordinary about is that he's capable of doing some crazy stuff in defense, and that's what makes him different than everybody else. Who's nominated in this category. I think Bartol also has played a great tournament in Cologne. But is that enough with the national team? Dylan Nahi, I was thinking about, but I went with the MVP of the European League.
Fair enough. Then let's get into the backcourt. Let's go to the left back and start it off here with, I'm going to start it again. That is Elohim Prandi for me. He was insane. Okay. He was insane throughout the Euro, and he was a major part in that PSG squad as well. In my opinion, one of the best in the world right now. Victor, how about you?
I have a big dilemma because I think Mikkel Hansen deserved it because he was silver medal in the Euro and silver medal in the EHF Champions League. Even though his role was not the main role as always. But I also have Jonathan Karlsbogar because I think he's, a player that every coach wants to have on his team.
So I went for Martin Costa.
No, I'm going to give it to Mikkel just because it's his last season, and yeah, it's Mikkel Hansen. But
fair enough.
Shout out to Jonathan Karlsbogar.
All right, so we can actually break it down right here and put it to an end, because Martin always goes for the Dane. If there is none, then he goes for the Scandi. And Victor always says he has a dilemma and then just counts up everybody that is nominated. Martin, who are you going for?
I think it's a strong, nomination. Also, Lasse Andersen been great, but I actually went with Martin Costa. He's the top scorer of the European Championship, and in a sporting team who's did okay in the European League. And if I remember correctly, he also joined you in the studio, so a little bit of a shout out to that. But Mikkel Hansen deserves it, if I have to be honest. But I cannot, pick Danish guys for every position. That would be silly. I think Martin Costa, he scored double digits every second match or something like that at the European Championship after the first one. So to me, that stands out.
He was playing great, that is for sure. Let's do it a little quicker for the rest of the positions again. So center back, just a quick name. Martin, you may start.
Actually, I have to choose the MVP. There cannot be anyone else. To me, it's pretty simple. I want to choose Felix Klar or some Nedim Remeli could also, but MVP.
Said faster.
Yeah, MVP.
Melvin Richardson.
I actually went for Felix Klar, but we'll see who's gonna get that one. Right back, I have it in my guts that we are gonna agree on that. Martin?
I don't know, because I said
because there were Danes nominated.
He went for Gitzel. You and me become him.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well,
he's the top scorer of the European Championship, of course, without shooting penalties. But DKM can, fair enough. I can also say DKM. That would be fair.
DKM is the second top scorer of the EHF Champions League.
But not the top scorer of the European League. How many did DKM score in the European League
without
this year?
penalties? Without penalties as well.
Yeah, he's amazing. He is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Then let's switch over to the right wing. Victor, who you got?
No doubt, Blas Jans.
Martin? Martin has doubts.
No, yeah.
Hans Lindberg.
I took Hans Lindberg.
Oh my God. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but come on, Martin.
Yeah, okay, fair enough with Blas Jans. But the thing is, actually, I thought that I was doing this earlier, and I just picked someone, and I thought that I could go back and change it. But to be fair, I couldn't, and I have Hans Lindberg on the team now. So Blas Jans is well deserved as well.
Yeah, I was actually in between Blas Jans and the guy who actually got it for me. I went for Mario Sostaric because in a Pick Sega team, he actually managed to score 88 goals, and they only qualified for the playoffs. So he is missing basically 4 games, and who knows where that might have taken him. But, Blas Jans, of course, he deserves all the glory that is being brought to him this season.
And that's why he cannot be in an all-star team, because he missed out. But
Fair enough. Then let's go to the line. Do you have a player that played the Final Four, Martin?
Of course I have. I have Luis Frade.
Victor,
I think the way that he took over for Fabregas, and we spoke about Centros and Fabregas, the loss, Frade.
Yeah.
Luis Frade as well. It was amazing what he did this season.
Yeah, Luis Frade from my side as well, and now we're going back to Denmark. We're going back to the defense. Martin, who's the best defender?
I have a back-to-back champion then, because I'm going with our friend from Barcelona, who's called Thiago. Although I want to say Mølgaard is doing a great job, and he's born in 85. He's turning 40 years old, but Thiago Petros, yeah.
How about you, Victor?
I'm going with Thiago Petros as well, because he's very special. His way of defending, he can be tough in the 1-against-1, but then he's very special the way he's reading the game in defense. So I'm going with Thiago as well.
Well, then I am gonna do justice to your fellow Dane twice here, Martin, because on one hand side, Henrik Mølgaard isn't 40, he's 39. Put some respect on his age.
I said he's turning 40, right? Did I?
In January, so that's like 6 months to go. I'm turning 40 as well, but in 2039. Yeah, so, but yeah, that's some different topic, and just the way that he defended Aalborg into this final of the Champions Champions League season was very impressive.
I just want to say Thiago Perez, he seems like very humble and warm guy when I met him last year at the Excellence Awards, and down to earth. And he's not the guy whenever he gets a 2-month suspension, arguing with the referee and stuff like that. I like that about Thiago's also.
Yeah. Well, interesting. We have a lot of different opinions here, and we are curious to hear about yours. So go ahead in the Home of Handball app and vote for your players of the season. They will be revealed at the 27th of June, and you can vote until the 23rd of June. So, go ahead and do that, and you can influence the vote. It will be great to hear what you guys are saying. And it's always funny. I always like it to nominate the players and then to be talking shite about it. So that's always great. Sweet. And then eventually when it comes down to closing down this podcast episode, it comes down to closing this season for us. So, what a great first year that was, right?
Come on.
It's over?
No. Of course, he's just teasing you. Mr. Gonzalez, he's just teasing you. Of course, who am I?
Are you putting an end to the podcast?
I am putting an end to the podcast. Yeah, I actually didn't prepare a Who Am I. I'm sorry.
Yes!
I have actually not prepared one. I'm sorry.
I'm speechless.
Second dinner that you owe me, Martin. Second.
I don't know what to say,
Yeah, fair. I'm sorry for throwing you under the bus here, Martin. But
this beep, beep, beep cannot be winning.
Well, for you, it's
again.
We lost Martin here. But congratulations for our winner of the Who Am I. But we will be back with Who Am I. That's for
Martin,
sure.
Next season. Martin.
But we cannot end it like this, Like the last time we had one is 3 weeks ago, and nobody said it's the last one. Victor, you know it yourself. You don't want to win like this.
I
you don't want
retired.
to win like this.
I retired at home, not knowing that I played my last game. So I'm so sorry, my friend. But this is life, This is life.
Yeah, fair enough.
I want to say some words that are not suitable for the microphone.
You nice guy, Victor.
Okay,
you nice guy. We're not going there, boys. We're not going there, boys.
Can you just thrown me as the king of the Who Am I tournament this season?
All right, then I am gonna give you guys some hints.
Really?
Here. You may guess who the player is, and then let's start it off here with I won Who Am I in the season 2023-2024. I won more Champions League titles than everybody else in the world. My picture is actually just frozen.
Yes.
But in the meantime, I'm having a thumb just right beside my head because I am the greatest to have ever entered this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Víctor Tomàs.
This is worse than the mafia. You too, man. I knew that you were against me. I had it from the start,
Yeah, we are. That's why we uninvited you from Cologne. But that's
if that's how you want to win, Victor. Okay, I thought you were a bigger sports person than that. But I'm glad your picture says frozen. I'm glad your picture is frozen.
A victory is a victory.
True that.
Like my name, Victor. Victory.
Victory.
Cool. But then let's put an end to that, and let's say thank you for everyone involved in this season of the Spin We Talk Handball. It has been great talking handball with you guys out there week in and week out. Thanks for all the lovely feedback that you gave us. This won't be the last episode throughout the summer, so we pre-produced some stuff in Cologne, in Budapest, that we will give you throughout the entire summer. There are some great episodes with some great guests, and Martin is in some of them as well, but that's some other story. Eventually
victory.
Victory was in there as well. But yeah, until then,
that's easy to remember.
Yeah, it is easy to remember. But Victor, you're frozen. You're out of the podcast now. So,
but my voice is still going on Spotify.
Your voice is still going on. That is true. So yeah, before the boys are getting even more and more crazy, I'm cutting it here on the behalf of all of us. So thank you guys for tuning in. And from our side, it's time to say that we will hear each other again next season when it's time to talk handball again.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Into the net.
She does it again. Yes.
And Magdeburg are the champions of Europe.